Hello children, welcome back to our online class. Today we are going to learn a new chapter, packing. It was about three friends, how much trouble they faced while they are packing for a journey. So let's watch the video. Let's start the lesson. Lesson number 7, packing. So before you read, it's given that do you like going on trips? What kind of trips do you enjoy most? That we all know. We all enjoy going on trips. Okay, so how do you feel about having to pack for a trip? Sometimes we may very much interested because we are going for a trip to very much interested to pack before going for a trip. Have you ever discovered on a trip that you have forgotten to pack a few things you very much need or that you can't find them easily? Sometimes it may happen. So you may forget to take with the things that very much needed. Forgot to take that one. Forgot to pack that one. Or sometimes you packed it but you don't know where you have kept it. So that also happens. Does this make you angry or does it make you laugh at yourself? Sometimes it will be angry in that time, but after some time it will make you laugh. So now let's read the description of how the author and his friends pack. Let's check the lesson. I said I would pack. I rather pride myself on my packing. Packing is one of those many things that I feel I know more about than any other person living. It surprises me myself sometimes how many such things there are. So the author said he would pack. So pride myself on means I am proud of. So he was proud about packing. That is he thinks that he knows packing better than any other person living there. I impressed the fact upon George and Harris and told them that they had better leave the whole matter entirely to me. So here George and Harris, they both were George and Harris and Jerome K. Jerome, the author. These three members were going for a journey and they are packing there. Okay. These are the next two characters. They fell into the suggestion with a readiness that had something uncanny about it. Fell into means here accepted. Uncanny, strange or weird. So when he said he would pack, definitely that time suddenly they both quickly they said, yes, sure, you can pack. They accepted their suggestion. George spread himself over the easy chair and Harris cocked his legs on the table. So when author said I would pack, then they both accepted and they started sitting easily. This was hardly what I intended. So what author intended, that was not this one. What I had meant, of course, was that I should boast the job and that Harris and George should potter about under my directions. I pushing them aside every now and then with, oh you, here, let me do it. There you are simple enough, really teaching them, as you might say. So potter about means do some unimportant things. So here, what the author thought that when he said I would pack, that means he will refer the other members. He will say, okay, oh what are you doing there? Not like that. Let me do it. I will help you. You are making mistake there. Not that one. Don't do like that. He thought to say like that all things, but here what happens, they both accepted his suggestion and they started sitting freely. If they doing it, then only he can push them. So they're taking it in the way they did irritated me. So how they did that irritated him. There is nothing does irritate me more than seeing other people sitting about doing nothing when I am working. So the main thing irritated him more is that the people are sitting around and doing nothing when he was working. That he doesn't like. I lived with a man once who used to make me mad that way. He would loll on the sofa and watch me doing things by the hour together. So once he lived with a person, that person did like that. He irritated him like this. When he was doing the work, he will simply sit on the sofa and watch it. He said it did him real good to look on at me messing about. So he said, it is very really good to look at you, how you are messing the things here and there. No, I'm not like that. Now he said, I'm not like that. I can't sit still and see another man slaving and working. So he can't, he say that he can't sit still and see another man slaving and working. That means doing some hard work. I want to get up and superintend. That means he said he want to get up and superintend and walk around with my hands in my pockets and tell him what to do. So he can't simply sit and watch. What he'll do? He will keep in his hands in pocket and he will walk around and he will say what to do. That means he is like a boss. Like a boss, he will watch and he will say to them, do like this, like that. Okay, it is my energetic nature. I can't help it. So that is his nature and he can't stop doing that one. So that is there. However, I did not say anything but started the packing. So when they both are sitting there, he started packing. It seemed a longer job than I had thought it was going to be. But I got the bag finished at last and I sat on it and strapped it. So he did that work and he finished it. He thought it may be quickly finished, but that was didn't finish that much easily, and finally he finished it and he sat on it and finally he strapped it. Aren't you going to put the boots in? Said Iris. Suddenly Iris asked him, aren't you going to put the boots in? And I looked around and found I had forgotten them. That is just like Iris. He couldn't have said a word until I had got the bag shut and strapped, of course. So that is Iris. Iris will never say before he packed it. Before he strapped the bag, he could say about it, but he didn't say that one. And George laughed. One of those irritating, senseless laughs of his. They do make me so wild. So here, by seeing that one, George started laughing. That might seem very much irritating. I opened the bag and packed the boots in, and then, just as I was going to close it, a horrible idea occurred to me. So he opened the bag and put the boots in it, and he was going to close it. Suddenly something he remembered. What is that? Had I packed my toothbrush? He thought, had I packed my toothbrush? I don't know how it is, but I never do know whether I have packed my toothbrush. He couldn't remember. He can't remember whether he packed the toothbrush or not. My toothbrush is a thing that haunts me when I am traveling. Haunts here to repeatedly give trouble and makes my life a misery. So toothbrush is the thing that haunts him very much and makes him very much troubles. I dream that I haven't packed it and wake up in a cold perspiration and get out of bed and hunt for it. So he'll think he didn't pack it and he'll wake up early and he will search for the toothbrush. And in the morning I pack it before I have used it. And sometimes what will happen there, in the morning time he will pack that one before he has used it. Before brushing he'll pack it again, and how to unpack again to get it, and it is always the last thing I turn out of the bag, and then I repack and forget it, and how to rush upstairs for it at the last moment and carry it to the railway station wrapped up in my pocket handkerchief. So sometimes he will forget to pack it, and sometimes what will happen, he will pack it before he used it in the morning, and morning time again he wanted to open it and take the brush, and after brushing he will forget to keep it back in the bag again. And again when he remember it, he want to run upstairs and take it, and he have to keep it in his pocket wrapping by with the handkerchief. So that are some troubles he faced with the toothbrush. Of course, I had to turn every mortal thing out now. Every mortal thing means every ordinary thing. And of course, I could not find it. So he wanted to take each and everything from that bag, keep it outside and search for the toothbrush. And he couldn't find it. I rummaged the things up into much the same state. Rummage means search in a hurried or careless way. Rummage the things up into much the same state that they they must have been before the world was created and when chaos reigned. So he put here and there searching for the toothbrush. Of course, I found George's and Harry's 18 times over, but I couldn't find my own. So he find when he was searching for his toothbrush, he found Harry's toothbrush and George's toothbrush also, but he couldn't find his own. I put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more and he kept it everything back and shaking the things. Finally, he found the toothbrush inside a boot and he found it and he repacked once more. When I had finished, George asked if the soap was in. When he finished again, even he finished, George asked if the soap was in. I said I didn't care a hang whether the soap was in or whether it wasn't. And I slammed the bag shut and strapped it and found that I had packed my spectacles in it. So what happens there? When George asked whether you kept the soap in or not, then he said, I don't worry about that soap. I'm not worrying about that. And he he closed the bag, shut the bag, closed and strapped it. Then he found that he had packed his spectacles in it and had to reopen it. And he has to reopen it to take the spectacles. It got shut up finally at 10:05 p.m. and then they remained the hampers to do. Harry said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours time and thought that he and George had better to do rest and agreed and sat down and they had a go. So here hampers means large baskets for carrying food. So 10:05 the packing is finished and they ordered to arrange the baskets for carrying the food. So that they started. They both, Harris and George wanted to take rest, so they took rest. So he started doing the job. They began in a light-hearted spirit. Okay. Okay, sorry. So he agreed that one. George and Harris will pack the hampers. The rest of the packing they both will do, and he can have a rest. They began in a light-hearted spirit, evidently intending to show me how to do it. So they show it in a slowly and carefully they did it. They wanted to show to him how to do it. I made no comment. I only waited. With the exception of George, Harris is the worst packer in the world. And I looked at the piles of plates and cups and kettles and bottles and jars and peas and stoves and cakes and tomatoes extra and felt that the thing would soon become exciting. So he said that one, Harris is the worst packer in this world and what they are doing they are making a piles of plates. They are doing it in a different way. So he thought after some time it will be very exciting. It did. They started with breaking a cup. First they break a cup. That was the first thing they did. They did that just to show you what they could do and to get you interested. So first they broke a cup. Then Harris packed the strawberry jam on top of a tomato and squashed it. And they had to pick out the tomato with a teaspoon. So next they kept the strawberry jam on top of the tomato and the tomato was squashed and they want to take it out. And then it was George's turn and he trod on means stepped on, trod on the butter. So next George stepped on the butter. I didn't say anything but I came over and sat on the edge of the table and watched them. So our author was watching how terribly they both are packing. So you can see the things on the picture. George trod on the butter. The picture you can see the author is sitting on the edge of the table and Harris is standing there. It irritated them more than anything I could have said. I felt that. It made them nervous and excited and they stepped on things and put things behind them and then couldn't find them when they wanted them. And they packed the piece at the bottom and put heavy things on top and smashed the piece in. So what happened there? So they are packing carefully, but they are making a lot of mistakes. Sometimes they kept the things behind them and they are searching for it. Where is it? It is simply behind them, but they couldn't find it. And they put the piece down and on the bottom, and they kept a piece at the bottom, and they kept heavy things over it, and they smashed the piece in. They upset salt over everything. And as for the butter, I never saw two men do more with 1 and 2 pence worth of butter in my whole life than they did. After George had got it off his slipper, they tried to put it in the kettle. It wouldn't go in, and what was in wouldn't come out. They did scrape it out at last and put it down on a chair, and Harry sat on it, and it stuck on him, and they went looking for it all over the room. So it's very interesting thing happens there. So when they removed the butter from the shoe, and they wanted to keep it in the kettle, and it wouldn't go in, and some part get in, and they can't get it back, and they scrape it out, and they put it on the chair. Harry sat on it, it stuck on him, and they were searching for the butter. Where is it? I will take my oath I put it down on that chair, said George, staring at the empty seat. And he said, I put it on that chair. No, I know that one. I saw you do it myself, not a minute ago, said Iris. Iris said, yes, I saw. I saw you kept it on there. Then they started round the room again looking for it. And then they met again in the center and stared at one another. So they were searching for it around in the room, and they both met in the center and stared at each other. Most extraordinary thing I have heard of, said George. So mysterious, said Harris. Then George got round at the back of Harris and saw it. Why, here it is all the time, he exclaimed indignantly. Then finally they both found it. Where is it? It's back of Harris. Where? Cried Harris, spinning round. Stand still, can't you? Roared George, flying after him. And they got it off and packed it in the teapot. And finally they kept it in the teapot. So it's very interesting part, this one, because they are searching for the butter. Montmorency was in it all, of course. Montmorency's ambition in life is to get in the way and be sworn at. Sworn at means get scolded. Montmorency is the dog. Montmorency is the pet dog of them. Okay, their pet dog. The name of their pet dog is Montmorency. If he can come in anywhere where he particularly is not wanted and be a perfect nuisance and make people mad and have things thrown at his head, then he feels his day has not been wasted. So the main thing what he has done is that he will come to the place where he doesn't want to come, and he will make perfect nuisance there, and he will make the people mad there, and he will have some things thrown at his head. Then he will feel that one, oh okay, today I didn't waste my day, it's a wonderful day. So look there in this picture, Montmorency got into the hamper before Harris could land him with the frying pan. Okay, to get somebody to stumble over him and curse him steadily for an hour is his highest aim and object. And when he has succeeded in accomplishing this, his conceit becomes quite unbearable. Conceit here is pride himself. So he likes to do such type of naughty things, and he feels very much happy, or he will feel pride himself that somebody scold him very much. He likes it. He came and sat down on things just when they were wanted to be packed, and he labored under the fixed belief that whenever Harris or George reached out their hand for anything, it was his cold damn nose that they wanted. So he will come and sit over the things, and whenever George or Harry searching for anything, when they are trying to get something, when they are stretching their hands to take anything, that will be, instead of that thing, what they will get the cold nose. That means he will keep his nose under it. They will touch on it. He put his leg into the jam and he worried the teaspoons, and he pretended that the lemons were rats and got into the hamper and killed three of them before Harris could land him with the frying pan. So what happens there? So he playing there. He kept his leg in the jam and he worried the teaspoons. Worried is disturbed. He disturbed the teaspoons and he pretended that the lemons are the rats and he running after them and he killed the rats. The rats means the lemons. He killed three of them before Harris could land him with the frying pan. Before Harris could beat him with the frying pan. Harris said, I encouraged him. I didn't encourage him. So Harris said that other encouraged Montmorency. The other said he didn't encourage him. A dog like that doesn't want any encouragement. It is the natural, original sin that is born in him that makes him do things like that. So here nobody want to encourage Montmorency do such type of things because it is there in his natural habit. The packing was done at 12:50 and Harris sat on the big hamper and said he hoped nothing would be found broken. So he sit on that big hamper and he said, I hope nothing would be found broken. George said that if anything was broken, it was broken, which reflection here means thought. Reflection seemed to comfort him. So he said, if anything broken, that will be broken. He also said he was ready for bed. We were all ready for bed. Harris was to sleep with us that night and we went upstairs. So three of them went upstairs for sleeping. We tossed for beds and Harris had to sleep with me, he said. So they tossed for the beds and Harris had to sleep with the other. He said, do you prefer the inside or the outside, J? J here means Jerome. I said, I generally prefer to sleep inside a bed. Harry said, it was odd. George said, what time shall I wake you fellows? Harry said, 7. I said, no, 6, because I wanted to write some letters. Harris and I had a bit of a row over it, but at last split the difference and said 6:30. Wake us at 6:30, George, we said. Here split the difference means this means that they agreed on 6:30 because it was halfway between 6 and 7. They said 7 and 6 and in between that they fixed a time. George made no answer and we found on going over that he had been asleep for some time. So we placed the bath where he could tumble into it on getting out in the morning and went to bed ourselves. So here's a very interesting story we have finished here. It was written by Jerome K. Jerome. It is an extract taken from Three Men in a Boat. Three Men in a Boat is a novel, wonderful novel. So from that a small part it was taken there. It is packing. Okay, so this is a story. I hope you all understood the story. It's very interesting one. You can read the story again by looking after watching this video. Then if you have any doubts after watching it, you can ask it in the comment box. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching. See you again. Bye.